So we're down in the basement of my furnace room, and I started, I guess in the springtime, doing some composting, and was researching different ways to take care of my solid waste, like food waste and things of that nature. And I found out that the vermicomposting, which is composting with worms, was becoming more interesting to me. And what I got finally was I invested in some red wigglers and European night crawlers, and that's what I have in here. These in this unit here is primarily the red wigglers, and I separated out some European night crawlers over into this bin, and I can show you how I did those. But these this one was a commercial bought. It's like 75 bucks. It's got 5 trays in it, and what you do, you add your worms to it, and I'll show you these on top here.
Okay, you want me to hold the mic for a minute? You okay?
If I'm not making too much noise with it. You can see they're living really happily here, and I had to bring them. I brought them in the house. My wife's not too happy about it, but I brought them in because it got a little too hot in my garage. But they're having some real fun right there. If you can zoom in and see that, they're actually
mating there.
Yeah, sorry to disturb you guys, but but I keep crazy. A little and they're really low maintenance pets in a way, because all you do is. All that black stuff there is like worm poo, and it's super healthy for your plants and stuff. But I'm raking back. This is some compost I put in here like a week ago, and they're just loving it. They're eating that up. I might feed them once every week or two. Just the big things, just don't overfeed them. There's a little moss in there. There's a little.
Now, when you say feed them, what all do you put in here, Jamie?
Anything pretty much I would eat, and I'm sort of picky about what I feed them. I'm not.
So these are like any leftovers you got that you would throw in the trash.
Throw in the trash. The things that they don't eat is meat. I don't put meat in here because it probably end up stinking. They would eat it eventually, but I don't throw any meat in there, and I don't put any citrus. Meat, citrus would be a no-no for this. They won't consume it as well. But it's full of these, and the little ones here. I don't know if you got a shot at it, but that's a red wiggler. And those things are ferocious eaters. They just eat up everything. And there's some European night crawlers in here. Like the red wigglers eat all the small particle stuff, and then the European night crawlers are larger. They'll eat the big stuff. And they just pretty much work everything up till it's gone.
So what's this paper type stuff you have on top of?
That's just cardboard, just like melted down cardboard.
And do they like that?
Yeah, they love the cardboard, paper scraps. You can put anything organic, basically anything organic you can stuff in there. I throw a lot of coffee in there, some coffee. But what happens... I started here on the bottom with a tray, and then as it fills up, you add another tray, and then you add another tray.
So there are worms in all these.
Well, not as much. The bottom tray's pretty much worked out, and they'll feed up. I'll add like 5 trays, and I'll harvest the tray off the bottom because they're continually feeding up toward the top, and then I'll check that tray, and when it's got no more visible particles in it, it'll all look pretty much like this black, real nice material. And I'll harvest that tray out, and you can mix it in with a bunch of. There's a mixture you can get like with other vermiculite, or there's a whole blend that you can do to make a really nice potting soil.
So you're making your own potting soil out of it.
Yeah.
It's super rich. Gardening soil,
and I really got it. Like I like to use it on my fig trees or herbs and things like that.
And your fig trees look beautiful out front.
Figs are growing out front, but I really wanted to have some good soil to have my plants in, and to start some vegetables and things like that. And then I got kids coming, but that's so. I could pick these up and just show you.
Here, I'll hold that.
Hold that. Like the trays, like how they're down through there. So they're really nice weight. You don't have to worry about them hurting you or anything, like just picking them up. And this one has a few worms in it, you can see, and that's getting to be nicer looking dirt.
Yeah, I see.
And this is some really almost ready to harvest type dirt here. And I could take that out and mix it with any kind, make plants grow like crazy.
Yeah, and super fertile.
It drains out in the bottom, so there's actually a drain. So
you have a jar there,
yeah. And they I just take that and you can pour that on plants or dump it out or whatever. It's pretty rich too. It's just kind of like, it's not really, it's just whatever drains out there, and it doesn't smell or anything. It doesn't stink. It's really low.
It really doesn't. I don't smell anything.
Which is
crazy. You figure it would stink.
As long as you don't overload it, it's got a real earthy, nice aroma to it. I mean, it's nothing bad, and they just sort of take care of themselves. But what I did, I separated out. This, like I said, this is a commercial unit. This I just built out of totes, and all it is just like a tote, just drilled holes in it, and then.
So you got worms and stuff down in there too. That's like moss, right?
I got a bunch of moss and put in there, and these are this cloth kind of keeps them from. And they don't get out once they get settled in. They
don't want to leave.
Nah,
yeah.
they don't want. It's a nice little environment for them there. I keep them. I keep a little water. I'll douse a little water on them every now and then. You know, I'll just give them a little drink or something. You know, and if you overwater them, it'll drain out down there. It's not really hard. I need to shut that off, don't I?
That's all right. No, it's good.
Boy, sorry about with the furnace down here. I mean, it's climate controlled, and so it stays cool.
Yeah.
They were not doing as well out in my garage.
So it's better if it's a cool environment.
They like it a little bit better around 75 degrees. They optimize a little better that way. But in here, I've got these are European night crawlers. They're a little bigger worm, and I've sort of put these in here and was going to fatten them up to do a little fishing. But those are pretty nice. See, those are pretty nice fishing size.
Yeah, crazy.
So they're super healthy, and I've got some compost in this too, and they'll work in there. On down in there, there's like tons of them.
Boy, there are, man.
And I got a lot of. There's some wet newspaper in the bottom just to keep it. It's sort of just damp.
And do you feed them too, or do they just live in that moss?
No, I'll throw them some compost in there, and they'll use that up pretty well. But what I'll show you.
What kind of moss is that? Where'd you get it?
It's just growing on top of my house. I got a flat roof house, so I just pull some off of there.
Crazy.
And that just there's some slid down in the bottom, but I probably need to put some moss down there. But any excess, you know, so you don't want them to set in liquid. So I just let that flow off there. I might grab him and
put him in there and rescue him. Yeah.
He'll be all right down there, but I'll just pick him up, put him in another one. But and again, you can build these up the same way. You could build a tower out of these, and I've just got holes drilled in the bottom of this and holes drilled.
Now you started this how long ago?
I started this back in the springtime, and I had it outside, and then I brought it in. But what happened, and I don't know how they got in there, these little grubs, I'll call them, started. I got them in there. I think they came off of some corn or something. I think it was corn, and I looked them up, and they were black soldier flies. So then I started researching black soldier flies, and I found out, as far as composting goes, these things are amateurs
compared to black
soldier flies. They will destroy compost, but they do a different thing to it. The worms make really nice dirt out of it, and they add like microorganisms to it, and they process it a lot differently. The black soldier flies just go in and destroy stuff, and they become these big, fat, healthy grubs. And so I started researching black soldier flies, and I ended up building me a black soldier fly bin.
So you got that outside?
I got that outside.
Are you going to show us that too?
Yeah, and they tolerate the heat really well. They don't care. I had a pile of coffee, which I'll show you. I temped it out at 115 degrees, and they were living fine and eating coffee at 115 degrees. So they're pretty powerful grubs, we'll call them.
Wow.
And I found out that it's not politically correct among the black soldier fly community to call them maggots. You know, they're grubs. They say.
They're grubs, okay.
I guess they think they might be accepted more that way. But anyway, I'll put the lid back on this.
Let's take a look at the black soldier flies. I'm fascinated by what you're into here, my friend.